good evening and welcome to the 9th episode of my podcast, Candid Convos. I'm back after a break of around 2 months, if I'm not wrong. But yes, now that I'm back with a bang because I have not one, but two guests today in this video podcast. And as usual, continuing the trend, I'm not going to introduce them. They are going to tell who they are and what are we going to talk about in this podcast. So there we go. Let's go to first guest number one.
I'm sorry, you did not specify who was the guest number one.
Okay, so please, Aditi, please go ahead.
Okay. Thank you, Kavita, for inviting me to your podcast, Candid Convos. I'm really excited to have this conversation with you and Rohit. So just a little bit brief about me. I am currently working as an associate product manager at Hyper. It's the world's first Gmail-based help desk. We are around 7-year-old startup, and we are close to around 100 people in the team. So my journey up to this point has been a little unconventional in the sense that I started my career as a trainee in Infosys. I quit that shortly after the training program, and afterwards I joined a startup where I started off as a QA engineer. Over time, I got promoted to a senior QA, and I also at that point of time got an inclination towards product management. At which point I got promoted to a product manager, and now I'm currently working at Hyper. That's mainly about myself.
Okay, and apart from all this, what do you like to do in as your hobbies?
Mainly I like to spend my free time either in Toastmasters. I have every Saturday I have this meeting with my lovely club members, of which you are the president and Rohit is the VP of PR. And other than that, I also like to dabble a little bit in singing, and hence the mic setup. I like to read. My latest read is the current book that I'm reading is Netflix No Rules Rules, which was a gift from our CEO, by the way. That's mainly about it.
Okay, so this mic and all you're not using for singing, it's just a show off. So I got that. Okay, let's be very clear on that. And what are your views about our second guest, Rohit? Would you like to go ahead before I ask him to introduce himself?
I just think that if Rohit steps out of his home, it just it's a new world out there, and I think he should just step out and meet people and explore a little bit more.
Okay,
That's
got it.
all from my.
Yeah, I think that's not an introduction. That is a concern, I would say, which you have raised. Cool. So yeah, let's move. Thank you so much, Aditi, first of all, for agreeing to attend my video podcast. It means a lot to me. So thank you so much. And let's move on to Rohit.
Hey Kavita, unfortunately I won't be introducing myself because this is my second appearance on your Candid with Convos, and if you want
Candid
to know
Convos,
viewers,
bhai. What is Candid with Convos?
they can look back at the Bollywood episode and they can find my introduction there.
Okay. At that time also you didn't give introduction, by the way. Let me be very clear.
I gave. That means you don't watch your own episodes.
Oh yeah. Okay. ठीक है. Without wasting any more time on taunts and pranks, let's move on to the real discussion. And today we are going to talk about the journey of a fresher. Okay, and this is something which I think each and every person whoever is studying in college right now, the journey starts right from there, that we start to think, what are we going to do after college? Because to be honest, whatever we are pursuing in college, there are 90% people don't have any idea why they are pursuing and what they are pursuing. So same was the case with me as well. I just did my BTech because I just did it. That's all. That was the only reason. So yes. So my first question to you, Aditi, will be that while a person, first of all, I think rather than deciding what we will do after college, it's very important that how to decide what we want to do before getting into a course or before getting into one particular college. So what do you think are the main things which will help us to do that?
The thing is that for most of the people in India, our priorities are pretty set by our families. Okay, if you have an inclination towards maths and science, then engineering is your choice. If you're a little bit more inclined towards biology, then you of course go towards medical. And if you are interested in maths and accounts, then you take up commerce. So these are like very set, defined streams by the society itself based on what your interest lies in. And honestly, for me, engineering did not seem like a wrong choice when I did it. I was my study material in math, science really interested me a lot, and I used to study hard every day. And I only faced this problem when I got into engineering, and I realized that what I was studying is something that was absolutely of no interest to me, and my expectations from the degree itself were way off. So I think what can really help you in getting clarity before pursuing any degree is first understand what the degree entails. What is the curriculum that's taught? How are the peers that you will be staying with, or you will be spending time with? Because I think that is a key part of your learning at any place. You only spend a limited time with your teachers, but what really matters is the kind of peers you get. So first is the peer learning. Second is of course your curriculum, whatever is taught. Third is what does the college offer in terms of placements? What happens after you graduate, and what field of degree you I mean what sort of options you can pursue after you have graduated. So a clarity on these three things I think can help you better take a call based on your interests.
And what about this thing, Aditi, called what is my passion? What do I want to do in my life?
Honestly, I think
Just sorry to interrupt. So this question generally comes to twice, I think. First, when people are just getting or trying to get into a college, then nowadays they are started putting brain that okay, fine. What is my passion? Do I even want to do engineering? Do I even want to get into medical, or I want to do something else? What is my purpose and everything, right? And second passion conversation comes when you decided that you want to do engineering, but right when you're in the middle of it, like with after 1 year or 2 years, you decide, oh man, this is not for me, what did I do, right? And then passion conversation comes into the picture again. So I just want to know your thought on that. What do you think about this passion conversation which comes into the picture?
Honestly, after graduating, it's been 5 years since I graduated, and at this point, I can say that passion is a little overrated. I belong to the second category that you mentioned. After a year or a couple of months in, I realized that this is not my cup of tea. I did not enjoy coding. I did not enjoy all those circuits and processors, and none of those interested me. At that point I started looking, but the issue was that I had limited exposure in the college, even though it was a good college. But it was one fault at my end, that I did not explore as many opportunities. I did not take up as many internships to find out what really interests me. So I think what really matters is that you try and take up different roles. Try be more active in extracurriculars. Let's say you have Model United Nations, you have Toastmasters, you have different kind of societies that help you explore these different areas that can tell you a little bit. Let's say if you really enjoy leading a team, then you can sort of go into the managerial direction. If you enjoyed convincing people to fund a particular event that you wanted to do, so then you somewhere get the idea that okay, sales and marketing might be of interest to me. But even if you do all of that, i think uh, I think despite that, it could be that your preferences change over time, because eventually whatever role you join in only after you are into it entirely and deeply into into that role, you get to know, okay, there are certain parts that I like and there are certain parts I don't. At that point, the only choice you need to make is an 80-20 ratio. If you like 80% of your job, and you can like then like stay, ignore the 20% that you don't like. So try find your passion, but at the end of the day, you will not 100% like anything that you do. So that's a clarity that I think should be there in terms of when you pursue something.
Yeah, and I think the key is to explore. Like people are so they're so stuck with this thing that, oh, what is my passion? What is my purpose? When will I find it, right? That they just don't even explore. They just don't. The key is to explore. Then only you will get to know that, okay, this I like, this I don't like, right? But yes, this is something which I realized much later, that I should have explored a lot when I was back in my college. So yeah, this is one of my lessons which I have got. So Rohit, what are your views on it? I mean, were you very clear when you decided that you want to do engineering, or later you thought that, oh, maybe I want to do something else? Maybe yeah. So what are your thoughts on that?
Um,
I think
Fortunately,
you're
whatever I
I
picked
think you're
up.
still confused on this somehow.
Okay, I liked physics, chemistry, and maths,
Okay.
and the plus two, whatever 10th, 11th, 12th, whatever I studied, and that was very smooth. I really enjoyed studying all those subjects. But when I went into the college, there was a stark difference. And at that moment of time, I didn't have internet also to explore all these things. So it was just that, okay, I know this is the thing and I'm going without knowing that where this will take me or how the next 4 years is going to look like. So, but fortunately, after a year, I was able to get into computer science and I was enjoying that. Not all parts of it, but whatever part I was doing, I was enjoying it. Because of that, my academics suffered because I didn't like few parts. So I never invested in that time. But whatever I did, I was enjoying that moment. But now, if I relook back, I would say that I would have also uh, taken some time out to explore what are the options available. Now, with the internet, like nowadays, I just read upon, okay, even for now, also in computer science, or also there are different fields, right? You are into website designing, you are into data science, right? You want to do machine learning. So there are different options which are available. With that, it is very important that I do some courses on that, like before jumping into, okay, website designing is something I will do for the rest of my life. What I would have done in my college, okay, let's say I would have taken some courses on website designing or data science, machine learning, bit maybe do some internships in my third year. That would give me a hang. Okay, this is something which I like practically. This is something which I don't like. And even if you do some courses, there is a difference between when you go into the actual job, right?
Yeah.
And now, like, I'm following a lot of videos of this sort, a day in the life of a XYZ profession, right? A day in the life of engineer, product manager, doctor, consultant. So that actually gives you, okay, this is how my day is going to look like. Am I having the stamina, or will I be able to enjoy whatever this person is going through? So you get to see the actual, what do you say, the view nowadays as to, okay, this path, if I'm going to choose, this is how it is going to look like. But I think when I was in my plus twos, this all these internet things, they were not available. So yeah, maybe if it have done some, if it have taken these things, if it have explored more, maybe I would have taken a different option. But yeah, I don't know.
Okay. Got it. I mean, yeah, I was not even aware, like when I was doing, I did BTech computer science. So I didn't know that. I thought, okay, coding is the only thing which we guys have to do once we are out of college, right? And this is what my mindset was till I think 1 or 1.5 years after I joined a company. So of course, I didn't like to I didn't used to like coding that much. I mean, if you tell me to do something, I'll do it. That's how it was, but I didn't really enjoy it. That I'll put extra efforts on learning coding, on maybe sharing my learnings with somebody else. I'm like, no, let me just get this done and I'll move on to something else. So I was in that mindset. And that was the point when I realized that no, Kavita, maybe you should read, maybe you should explore a bit on what are the other fields also within this, not just like coding, right? And then I got this understanding of analytics, that data analytics is there and data science is there. So what all we do there, so I started learning, I started reading about it, and that caught my interest. And then I decided that okay, Kavita, it's time to make a breakthrough. And then I left my previous organization and I jumped into analytics full on. And yeah, now that I'm talking about analytics so much, so you would have realized that I work in data analytics. So yes, the moral of the story is that to take that plunge, right? But at least you need to be aware of things, that there is a world outside whatever you think is in your head. So yeah, that's something which I have also come across. Cool. So
Correct.
Aditi, yeah, yes, Rohit.
Just to add on your point that let's say some guy, he is very interested in coding and he doesn't have the view of how his life is going to look like after he has become a software engineer, because that's happened with me. In software engineer, it's not only about coding, there are
Ah,
dozen of other things
ah,
which come up on that which come up and which you may do not like. So that will create a false impression, okay, if I'm done with coding, I will be liking my job, which is not the case. There is a
correct.
whole lot of other things which come up along with coding which you may not like. So I think getting proper view of what your job is going to look like, how it will be carried out, that is more important.
Yeah, that's true. So, Aditi, my next question will be, do you think, is it, so some people say that once you have worked around 3, 4 years in a particular domain, it's not a wise decision to switch your domain suddenly, because then you have to start from the scratch again. So everything, your package, your salary, everything is determined by that, right? So what are your views on that?
So I think it entirely depends on what sort of a transition you are making. For example, a lot of people do this transition from tech to product. Either as so I did it as a QA engineer. Some people do it from a developer. Some even do it from an engineering manager even. So it, because the thing is that even after you have spent a significant time in the role, your learnings from that role are still with you. Even though your way of working has changed, even though your day entirely has changed, but there are still learnings that help you. For example, in my transition, my learning was as a QA engineer was to be always empathetic about the customer, to emulate the customer's experience so that they are able to interact well with the product. And I think that served as a base for me as a product manager. So if I was a developer, I would have then been more empathetic towards the engineering, because then I would know how it feels to develop a product and how it feels to develop it right from the scratch. So of course it's a new learning. I would not deny that there's a great learning curve with it. But if the important thing is, if you really like what you do, then it's very easy for you to ace that learning. Because if you do not like your job, then you'll really end up frustrated and you will probably not be able to succeed and get your true potential. So I don't think, at least for the first 10 years, you should be as afraid. And of course, another alternatives which most people pursue is do an MBA, just to transition to that role and just to try out something different if they are not happy with their own role. But I think in both these cases, your previous learnings do help you in most of the cases.
That's true. Now that you mentioned a very interesting word, MBA, so my next question will be around that only. So there are the main okay, this might sound very cliched maybe, but it is a fact. So many people, they do MBA because we all know if if you do it from a very reputed college, either if I talk about India or abroad, you're going to get a very high package, right? And that is the reason why almost I think 80% of people go ahead and do MBA at a certain point in their life, right? So, and yeah, I mean, I just want to know Rohit's thoughts on it first. Are you also planning to do MBA anytime in future, Rohit? Do you have any plans?
Not as of now.
Okay, and what
I
are
will
your
pass on
views
the
on
baton
doing an
to our.
MBA? What do you think? Is it going to help you in some or the other way?
I haven't explored much in that field, so yeah, I will not be doing justice by giving answer to this.
Okay, Are, why you are thinking about justice and all? I'm just asking your views. That's all.
I will not be able to give.
Okay, cool. Take it. Then we'll move on to Aditi since yeah, I won't reveal it. Aditi, you only go ahead.
So I agree with your point that most of the people do it to get a higher package, but in today's case, it's not really as relevant because it literally just takes you one or two switch to get to that MBA package. Maybe you'll get to it a year or two later, but I don't think money is the primary motivation because one, you also drain a lot of money. You spend so
Yeah.
much. You also lose out on your learning. I mean, on your salary for that year.
Mhm.
So, a bigger motivation for most of these people is to get into that field that they want. Because what happens is that if, let's say, I am at a higher package, it might not be as easy for me to switch to a different role at that package because companies would not offer me that sort of a learning without having that experience. So, for a lot of people, this becomes the mandate. Second is people who are stuck in, let's say, some other entirely different jobs, let's say somebody's a marine engineer stuck at ships all day. For them, it's very hard to get into IT. And those people then prefer an MBA. Third category is people like me who are in that role that they want to take up, but they want to upskill themselves and they know that an MBA would not only widen their overall learning and exposure to the business side of things, but also give them a much better peer learning. It will give you a network that helps you for life, and I think those are the primary motivators for most people. But of course there are still people who need an MBA to get their salaries up, so I think it's an added advantage. But I don't think money can be your primary motivation because honestly if you pursue an MBA you are probably at a lower level than what you started from.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Okay, so Aditi, since we are talking about MBA, so I've talked to many MBA grads, and once they do their MBA and they share their experience, so many times what I get to hear is that we feel that there is no difference. I mean, I can't feel any difference. Like it's okay. I studied. I worked my ass off, right? That everything is there, and now I'm at a good position. At a good role, but it doesn't feel any different. I feel I'm again in the grind. It's just that I'm earning more. That's all. And I have got more responsibilities. So, I mean, I know since you are also going to pursue MBA, and so what do you think? Like when you have these kind of conversations with MBA grads, you might have also come across certain experiences. So, what do you think about that?
I think it depends again on what sort of a role you were in previously. See, because even if you do an MBA or not, the ultimate end result is going to be still the same. You need to work hard, you need to show that result, and you need to really put in the effort. Only then you will get you'll get the salary that you deserve or the salary that you ask for. And another thing is that yeah, I agree there might not be a very you might not feel as different as to when you did what you did before MBA or what you did after because your overall role still remains the same. In fact, even now when I'm going to be pursuing an MBA, after that I will still be continuing with the same role that I am currently in. But I just know that my experiences during the MBA my peer learning that I did, my networking that I did is going to help me make those decisions better. My way of approaching a problem or how to solve a particular problem is going to change because of all these assignments that I will do, all the different study, different different sort of projects that we'll undertake. All those things are just a new way to approach your problem solving, and that's what makes the whole difference. Your work still remains the same, but it just helps you, one of course in this aspect, and second is, with the MBA degree it's very easy for you to gain the trust of people. People very easily think that, okay, this person has done something,
Yeah.
maybe I can give him or her a shot. Because especially in a country like India, we have
Yeah.
so much of talent. It's so competitive here. So of
Correct.
course, having an MBA does give you an edge. Bigger companies especially have this bias that they only hire people from these schools because they
Correct.
know that when they can, then why would they choose with somebody just having an graduate degree? Of course, that is not to say that without an MBA you cannot succeed. Of course, there are other ways. In
Yeah.
fact, people are now trying to find out other alternate ways, remote learning or other smaller courses. But I think at the end of the day, it's just what you look for in the MBA, because it might be right for some people, it might not be for for others. So do it for the right reasons, and I think you'll see the difference.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I like the honesty here that in India specifically, yeah, MBA kiya hai, ha, bhai, chalo, theek hai. Right. And also, I have observed one thing, like even you mentioned that few companies hire people from B schools only, right, as consultants. So, and the thing is that there is a huge gap when if a person who hasn't done MBA, he's also a senior consultant. So, and then there is a person who is an MBA grad, who is a fresher. He's also hired as senior consultant. But there are occasions when their salaries have a stark difference. Like the person who doesn't have MBA, he will have lower salary than the person who has just got out of an like MBA school, business school. So yeah, that is what is there in India. It's very very clear and evident. So definitely MBA gives you an edge. That's true, and that's why so many people are just going ahead and doing an MBA. I'm not saying that they're whether they're doing it for the right reasons or not, but yes, there definitely are advantages of doing an MBA in India for sure. That is true. Okay, so like moving on from this MBA topic, how does a day in the life of associate product manager looks like? What do you do?
So my day mostly starts with catching up with my team on a daily stand up, where we hear the updates from all the developers and the QA who are working on any feature, and there they tell us that if something is blocking them, then we discuss the progress of our upcoming feature. Post that, we have some ad hoc discussions that usually come up whenever we are releasing something. We work on that. Other than that, we have I work on writing the spec. Basically, it's the specification document for every feature, which entails what are we going to do, who are we going to do it for, how would this feature be, what all would be included in this, what would be our revenue generation from it, all those things for any new upcoming feature. Then I spend some time on also coordinating with other stakeholders on when a certain feature is going out. If a certain feature has gone out, then I have to tell them, okay, what have we released this time? Who is it for? It's basically about collaborating with people from all teams, engineering, and of course our business facing teams. Very often I also work with designers when we are working on a particular feature. Then we have a back and forth discussion. I do a review, and then the designer works on it, and ultimately we need to pitch it to get a final review from our VP of product. So it's a mix of all those things. It's honestly, I don't think my 2 days have ever looked the same. It's that dynamic.
Very dynamic, you mean, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Nice. That's nice. So, okay, so I would like to keep this conversation short and sweet this time, Aditi, because there are a lot of questions which I still have, to be honest. But then I think it's better that we make another episode of this video podcast. We'll make part two of the same on the same topic, and then we can explore more facets of what we are discussing, because it's really interesting, and I feel it's going to be very helpful for especially freshers who are just starting their journey and who sometimes feel that, oh, uh, they feel stuck, or they think things are not working out well for them. So yeah, just I would say a hope, a beacon of light, that things will be better, everything falls into place, just a matter of time, and getting connected with the right set of people. I think that's the key. So thank you so much, Aditi, first of all, for attending this video podcast of Candid Convos. And I would love to have you again for second episode, okay, a second series of the same episode. So yeah, I would just take your yes or no right here. I'm not going to. So please tell me if you would like to come again.
Wow. It would be so much fun if I say no right now.
Exactly. I know I have put myself in a very tough spot.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll not embarrass you and say I'll definitely like to continue this conversation further. And I think it's also imperative that we talk about such things, because especially for India, where literally every house has one engineer or one doctor,
That's
a lot of us don't do it for the right reasons. And honestly, that's one of the reasons I did not decide to pursue an MBA right after my college, because I did not want to commit that same mistake. I wanted to be clear about what I wanted to do even before doing an MBA. And now that I have that clarity, and now that I know what my eventual end goal is going to be, I'm thinking of pursuing one. So I think as much as it can help others, I'm all in for it.
yeah, no, I think I should call you offline. And I have many questions which you can answer right now. So I'm going to do that, and podcast we will make later. That's fine. Okay.
Sure.
Okay. Cool. Thanks. Thank you so much, Aditi. And yeah, if you want to say something just for my podcast, about me, about the audience, whatever you want, please.
Sure. I don't know who all are listening, but if you are, then I would just like to say that I know Kavita from our Toastmasters Club. She's a very bubbly, very enthusiastic member of our club, who also keeps us motivated. And I think a lot of you can drive a lot of value from what she's doing right now. So just stay tuned, like, subscribe, and share.
Oh my God. Thank you so much, Aditi. Thank you. I love you for this. Cool. Thank you so much, Aditi. I'll see you and talk to you soon. Bye.